Hello and welcome to Chess Book Reviews 144. I've had some problems with the recording, so I hope this is going to work out all right. Before we start, just a couple of new members to thank, M. Cron and J. Carlton. Thank you both very much indeed. I don't know you personally, but nevertheless, thank you for your endeavours in signing up. Sorry. Pretty organised, am I? I'm going to talk about British chess and also the British Chess Championships, which are starting up this weekend and are on for a week next week in Liverpool at the St George's Hall. It's a beautiful venue, historic venue, and it's a lovely tournament. 1,500 competitors, 99 so far and counting players in the British Championship itself. Now, in order to link in with this, I'm going to show you this book, which I think actually I've shown before, but nevertheless, it's by Neil Hickman, and it's called Collected with Notes by an Amateur. This is a somewhat stylized approach to his work, in as much that sounds very 19th century. Let me assure you that Mr. Hickman is very up to date. It says for Bedford and why Mundum chess clubs. I don't quite know why he puts that, but he's written another couple of books, one on puzzles and the other on legal whimsy. I think I'd like the legal whimsy one, please, Neil. He enters an apologia here saying he's sorry. I don't think he's got anything to be sorry for at all. Apparently, he's a retired county court judge living in Bedford. Well, there we are. Richard Hall was a judge. So was Judge Jeffreys, who was apparently related to Julian Hodgson. Now, this has games from 1788 right through to 2016, a game of David Howells. So what he's done is he's done what I do. He's taken some existing sources and he has had some fun, probably quite a bit of fun actually, in using what they say and seeing what he agrees with, and also seeing what his computer has to say about them, these games. There is 90 games presented with very nice notes by Neil. Let me show you the double columns, which I like. Here we are. Here's Tony Miles's game against Boris Spassky from Montilla. Bishop f4 against the Nimzo Indian, from memory. And he quotes the book, which I'm going to show you in a minute, British Chess. And he also quotes Best Chess Games 1970 to 1980 by John Spielman. Both books very interesting. So there we are, a quick flash of this book, which make no excuses. I think I showed before, but now I'm showing it again. Now this is more ambitious, but quite old. I still like it. This was the 50th book published by Pergamon Press at the time when Robert Maxwell hadn't thrown himself off his boat, and had a publishing house in Oxford, which is where he lived, Pergamon Press. I actually went to see him once, just after I left school. Show you how long ago it was. This book was published in 1983, so it is over 40 years old, but nevertheless. And it talks about the success in the 70s, an article by Leonard Barden, Chess Problems in Britain by J.M. Rice, an article, short introduction, about British correspondence chess by R. Gilman. And then they have a glossary of terms, index of players, and all the players who were eligible to be biographized, if that's a word, and it probably isn't, are in here. But some of them didn't bother to respond, and some others perhaps wrote rather too much. But nevertheless, they've been grateful for what they've got. Let me show you the amazing format. You don't get books like this every day. Look at that. That's lovely, isn't it? Let's just try and get it all in. There you go. So let's just choose a play at random. Who should we choose? Let's see what they've got about Michael Adams. Don't forget this was many years ago. Let's see if there's anything about Michael Adams. There might not be. No, there isn't. There is something about Jim Adams, who is a correspondence player. There we are. I will still show you. I had heard of him. There we are. I don't think he's still with us. And I'll show you someone who is still with us. This is one of the editors, not the only one. It's David Levy, whom you may know as a Scottish international, and has recently come back into chess on a club level. He left chess to do computing. He left chess to play cards. He always said that he enjoyed poker more than chess. Well, David, it's nice that you came back in part anyway. If you look in the most recent chess magazine, you'll see Paul Littlewood talking about his old games on occasion. And here's Paul when he was a young maestro. There we are, look. Sorry, this is not very easy to do. There we are. Littlewood Paul E, it says. He was British. Under 21 champion, 1975, which was 50 years ago. He won't thank me. And he won the British outright in 1981 at Morecambe. Just flicking through to see if there's any. Yes, there's an appreciation of Tony Miles by his one-time second, Bernard Cafferty. Bernard is still with us, but Tony sadly has passed away. I hate saying that, but nevertheless, he is dead. Here's Jana, who at the time was married to Tony, and is now Dr. Bellin. There she is. Looking breezy, I think is the word, isn't it? And it says name Malapetrova, because she was from Czechoslovakia. Let's have one or two more. There's Colin Sydenham, who died very recently. Sorry, yes, it is Colin Sydenham. There it is down in the corner. See him? Glasses and beard. Looks like an artist. Perhaps chess players are artists. Let's have just one more chosen at random, see what we get. Jonathan Mestel, there we are. Dr. Mestel, Professor Mestel. Still plays chess, not very much. Sadly, he won't be in the championships at Liverpool this weekend or next week. John, we miss you. There we are. Now, there was some confusion when it was announced today by Danny Gormley exactly where the British Championship is being held. So what I've done is I've got out my old entry forms, and to show you, he said it was in Hull, but it is not. There we are. And it's not in Hull, because that was 2018 and also last year as well, when we had the riots. This is when it was in North Wales, a very interesting part of the world, which I didn't know, and has absolutely incredible scenery. The same would be true if you went down south South Wales, around Swansea. There's the entry form. Bit dull, but never mind. When it was in Bournemouth. Nothing dull about Bournemouth, I can assure you. And here's a coloured one, but again, John Upham, who sometimes teaches me things, indicated really that photograph is far too small, isn't it? It'd be much better to enlarge it and do a close-up of the pavilion where it was held. This is when it was the 100th anniversary. They had a proper Congress programme. Now they don't bother with that. If you go there, they don't have charts on the wall, which they used to have, and I used to enjoy walking around and looking at them. But they don't do that anymore either. But never mind. Same event, 100th anniversary. W.E. Napier won. He won the playoff against H. Atkins at Christmas. 100 years later, there's the entry form. This is North Shields, one of the few I didn't go to, up in Newcastle. And a beach view. This is when it was in Sheffield, which wasn't a very interesting town to visit, though I did do my best for it. But I'm told, in fact, I've been told more than once, that actually Sheffield is a nice place to visit. It was just me making enterprise and not looking around properly. Swansea, 2006. There's an aerial view, and it was at the university. That was a really good venue. The building was a bit rickety, but the actual surroundings were. There's always some compensatory factor if you can be bothered. Here we are, the British Championships at the Riviera Centre, Torquay, where it's been so many times. When it was sponsored by Smith and Williamson. So if you're a senior partner of a financial concern and you would like your name all over the place, get in contact with the English Chess Federation and tell them that you've got a lot of money which you'd like to spend, and it's tax deductible on publicity and helping British chess. Here we are from 45 years ago, the Congress programme with all the players' names in it, which is always helpful, and you can fill in the scores, which they don't bother to produce anymore, though I wish they did. There we are. When it was in Brighton, won by the very first Grand Master to win the event, Dr. John Nunn. Here we are when it was in Morecambe. I very well remember this, going with my friends. Mark Johnson, Graham Borrell, and Graham Strouts. Guys, we had a great time. This is one of the championships I didn't go to. We'll see how much publicity you can get. See? The Grievous and Grant. So that could be the name of your company on there. If you want to come in and be a sponsor, they're always looking for sponsorship. Please, please, if you want to support British chess, and I hope that you do, please get in contact with the English Chess Federation. Here's the entry form for the 1984 one, which was also in the Brighton Centre, which is a good place for party political gatherings and also ice skating, Torval and Dean. Here's when we went north of the border, when we were in Edinburgh, 1985. There we are. We played on the curling rink. He drained it first. It wasn't covered in ice. This is 1986 when we played in Southampton. I enjoyed that enormously. And you can see the battleship underneath because it's a maritime area, isn't it? Now this is a bit of fun. Here's the entry form or when it was held in 1969. As you can see, looks like something out of Oxford and Cambridge general examination paper. If I can hold it still. There we are. There's Craigie College when it was in Ayr. I went all the way up to the northwest of Scotland to play in this and came back with Ansonics. Here's an interesting year, 1963. And you can see there a nice record of the championships for you to fill in the scores on the doors from over 60 years ago, that was. And last but not least, another example of what you can get if you are prepared to cough up some sponsorship money. Grievous and Grant there, supporting the 1979 championships. But now let's come up to date. It's 2025 and events are about to kick off in Liverpool, and I'm travelling up tomorrow to have a look round. I don't play anymore, but to have a look round at the St George's Hall, Liverpool, Lime Street. It's free to look round, but I'll put the email down below for you if you want to play. There are junior events, senior events, and the British Championships itself. There's about 10 Grandmasters competing and 1,500 plus players in all. Show your face and enjoy yourself. This has been Chess Book Reviews 144. Thank you for your time.